It's Monday in Simpsonville, South Carolina. It is a gorgeous day out today. We had a wonderful time in the services yesterday, and I want to talk to you on the subject of crying. Crying? Not a very joyful subject? Well, yes, it is. Yesterday morning, I watched as a young woman, probably in her early 30s, was baptized. Her testimony was that she had been an atheist, and she had come to know Christ, and now she was being obedient in baptism. I got to admit that never gets old for me. As a matter of fact, I can remember my old chairman of the deacons who helped with the baptism, helping people get their towels and get situated for baptism, and he said he never wanted to be replaced in that duty because it was such a joy to see people come to know Christ and then make a public profession, an outward evidence of an inner change. Well, I kind of thought about that as I was sitting there watching the baptism, and I thought about this young lady's testimony, and I thought about what a joy it was to see people come to know Christ and to follow through with believers' baptism. And it then took me to Luke chapter 15, where there's a story about lost and found things. Let me ask you a question. How hard would you look for a penny that you dropped? How hard would you look for a tie that was lost? How hard would you look for a smartphone if it was misplaced or lost? How about a pet? How hard would you look for a pet? One that you loved, one that you cared about. Well, Luke chapter 15 is a series of parables told by Jesus. The first is found in 15 verses 3 through 7. It's about a lost sheep. And it ends up in verse 7 with a joy in heaven over one sinner who repents. The second story is found in verses 8 through 10. It's a valuable silver coin. And it ends up in verse 10 with joy and the angels and the presence of angels because someone has repented. The last story is found in verses 11 through 32, and it's about a lost son. It takes a lot more verses. It's 11 through 32. For you see, in it, a lot more detail is revealed about the lost and the found. As a matter of fact, it reveals that the Father is loving, forgiving, patient, and full of grace. The Son, who is brazen, who is bewitched by the world around him, and who becomes broken. And an older brother who's a legalist, low and left out. It has a lot of elements. It's a beautiful story. And I never get tired of hearing it or preaching it. When the son is still a long way off, the father runs to greet him. That's what he did for me. That's what he did for that young lady that was baptized on Sunday morning. Now, let me tell you something more about the story. You see, on Sunday night I went back to church, and our music program put on a wonderful musical presentation of the Easter story. And during that Easter story, lo and behold, just 2 rows up from me was that same young lady that was baptized. And when the nails were driven in Jesus' hands, and when he was raised up on the cross and the cross thumped into the hole, I saw that young lady reach up with both hands and wipe away the tears. I saw her as the choir began to sing about the risen Savior and the blood of Jesus. And I saw her wiping away the tears, lifting her hands in admiration and love to the Jesus, our Savior. I've got to admit, There were tears in my eyes. And I thought to myself, Father, I hope that I never get to the place where this is just commonplace and never affects my emotions. Thank you for dying for me. Thank you for dying for that young lady. Thank you that I'm able to say once I was lost, but now I'm found. And God did whatever he had to, looked as hard as he had to, was as patient as he had to be, forgiving, loving, and full of grace. That's your thought for the day. God bless you and have a great day.